Throughout history, artists have amassed collections of artworks and objects. They've used them as studio props, sources of inspiration, and even financial investment. Unlike museums, most do not aim to build a scholarly, comprehensive collection. Artists collect not with their heads, but with their hearts. I'm here at the Barbican Centre in London, where objects from different artists' collections have been gathered together, alongside examples of their own work. We have Damien Hirst's taxidermy, Howard Hodgkin's Indian paintings, and the Japanese netsuke, which inspired Edmund Duval's best-selling memoir, The Hare with the Amber Eyes. What's remarkable is that each collection seems to tell a story, revealing a huge amount, not just about the objects, but about the artists themselves.
The thing that distinguishes artists' personal collections with other private collections, such as somebody who might be collecting for investment, for example, is the fact that artists can take a much more personal, subjective approach to their work. An artist isn't trying to be encyclopedic, isn't trying to fill in certain gaps. They're picking things based on their own aesthetic, out of emotional reasons often. I think an artist's collection can be considered a self-portrait. In one case, a collection that was assembled by Martin Wong was turned into an artwork by another artist, Yan Vo. Yan had visited Martin's mother, Florence Wong, because he had started to collect Martin's paintings, but he discovered this treasure trove of more than 4,000 objects in the home of Florence. All of Martin's interests are encompassed in it. There's examples of graffiti, there's signs with different sign languages. There's also Americana collectibles, East Asian objects. It's kind of a cosmos of Martin Wong's world. Some artists very readily lent work to the exhibition because they were used to showing their collections previously. Peter Blake had an exhibition of his collection, so did Hiroshi Sugimoto. But others are showing their collections for the first time, and it did take a lot of back and forth to agree to show the collection. A personal collection is very much that, a personal collection, whereas an artist makes work in their studio to be shown publicly. There's an understanding already that what they're making in the studio is going to go out into the world. It's a bit of a different matter when you go into their homes and ask, can I take this object off of your walls and put it into a museum?
One of the most fascinating aspects of this exhibition are the insights the collections give us into the artist's own work. Edmund Duval collected fossils as a child. When we know that, his netsuke take on an ancient, archetypal aura. And that's reflected in his pots, which become their minimalist cousins. Alex Massouras is a painter and a fellow at the Ruskin School of Art in Oxford. He also collects art, including David Hockney, Christopher Wood, and Adrian Heath.
I started collecting as soon as I started selling, actually. So, the first painting I sold, I went and bought a print. I think why is a more difficult question, because I think possibly it's one of the things about collecting is that there is no why. It's completely irrational, and I continue to get more and more stuff when I have no need for it. I acquire work through a multitude of means. I've found stuff in skips, I've bought in charity shops, I've bought in auctions. I swap with artists as well. I think the first thing I bought was with the sale of a painting, and I bought a David Hockney Grimm's etching. And I suppose the reason I alighted on that was that I remembered very profoundly seeing that series of etchings on display in Nottingham when I was a child. So it had all sorts of sentimental attachment as well as the obvious kind of visual one. The images do feed the imagination, but that's not quite what it's about. It's not just about visual delight, because things are about more than just the way they look. I absolutely think collecting and making come from the same impulse. It's a desire to pin something down. Both are slightly battles that can't be won, chasing ghosts. When you're making a painting, there is this promise of a visual perfection that you're always in pursuit of, and you never really finish it. You just stop working on it. And in the same way, I think when you want something, it's a very similar sensation. The pleasure is in the process as well. When you've got it, it's not as exciting as when you're getting it.
If one thing unites the collectors in the Barbican exhibition, it's their curiosity about the world around them. These collections seem to act as a bridge between the exterior and the interior. Essentially, the objects are a conduit for their imaginations.